Alrighty, it sounds like that parts of this book were not recorded correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and reread those sections for you. There was a glitchy part right in the middle, and I know it continued on again. And I don't know exactly what I said the first time, but so I'm just going to read through this so that you guys can do your work and stop when you need to. And go back for the learning that is happening here. Because really what we're doing in this book is kind of, what do you wonder? And what have you learned, basically? Like that's the two things that we want you to think about as I'm reading the story. So first, we always do this. The question I do believe that was asked this morning in the video part that you saw was, what do you know about the desert? And what do you wonder about the desert? Even before we start, gets our brain thinking. And if we wonder about things for the desert, it makes us look for the answer or listen for it as we're listening to the story. Okay? Or, sorry, it's not a story. This is expository nonfiction. It's all true. So we're going to be listening for facts and information. Okay? That actually is very important, even from the start. So Explore the Desert by Kay Jackson. And if we see here, right in the front page, it has a gloss. This is a text feature. It's a table of contents. And it even tells you all of the things that are in this book. Another text feature we see on the back is a little summary of what this book is going to entail. I see right away from this book that there are 6 chapters. I also know that there's going to be a glossary after it. There's also going to be an about the author section and an index. So I know that this book has lots of information about the desert, which is a habitat for animals. I also know that I'm not reading all 6 chapters. I'm only reading a few, and I do start with a dry land. So I kind of understand what a desert is. Now, we know that we're talking about animals when it comes to this unit that we're talking about, because we're talking about animals and their habitat. A desert is a habitat. And so I'm not going to read the part about desert plants, or I am going to read, I'm just going to go straight down to desert animals after I read this first one. Is that okay to do? Absolutely. Does it ruin the story? No, because it's not a story. It's just information that my brain is gathering. Okay, so here we go. A dry land. A camel walks slowly across the hot, dry sand. Sunshine blazes down on the camel's rider. Wind blows the sand around them into giant dunes. The rider sips water, but the camel will travel many miles before it needs to take a drink. Its body is made to live in a land where water is hard to find. Animals, like the camel, are suited to live in the harsh conditions of a desert. The world's deserts are the driest places on Earth. Deserts get less than 10 inches, or 25 centimeters, of rain each year. Desert air is so dry, raindrops often evaporate, which means that it gets turned into the air, the liquid goes into the air, before they reach the ground. Interesting. And I see there's a photograph here. It's a text feature. There is also a caption, which is another text feature. It says, camels use fat stored in humps on their backs when they need to go without food and water. Okay. This is stop number 1. If you can pause here and go ahead and write down the things that you've learned or the things that you wonder on your double entry chart. Some of you might have already done this section before. That's fine. You can go ahead. But others, this is a perfect time for you to stop this video. This is a continuation of a dry land. It just goes now to talk about the desert biome. And the biome is a community of unique plants and animals. And this is the part that you probably missed or did not hear in the video earlier. So here I go. The desert biome it's in the desert biome, a community of unique plants and animals. They have adapted to the dry climate. Desert plants and animals depend on each other for survival. Desert plants provide shelter and food for desert animals. Animals help plants by spreading their seed throughout the desert, but some deserts have such harsh conditions that almost no plants and animals live there. So it shows a picture up at the top. It's the Atacama Desert in South America, and it's the driest place on Earth. Rain might fall once only every 20 years. Okay. And then there is a picture there, some owls. It says burrowing owls. And then I did show you a picture of this, the map. And then there is a box here that has more information in it. Sometimes that's called a sidebar or a text box. This is going to tell you all the places that have deserts in them. Okay. And on this map, it even has a legend here where it shows you that the places that are yellow are all deserts. And as you can see down here in Antarctica is all desert. So it says deserts can be cold or hot. Antarctica is a cold desert. Temperatures stay far below freezing in winter. Thick fur or feathers protect animals from the cold. In hot deserts, animals hide under rocks or in holes during the day. Plants have adapted to hot deserts too. The leaves of some desert trees curl up during the hottest parts of the day. They save water this way. All right, this would be stop sign number 2. If you have already done that, that's okay too. You can continue on with the video. If not, go ahead, take a stop here before we continue with chapter 3, which are desert animals. This one says, a tarantula hunts small insects in the hot desert. So this is the chapter, and here's the title, which that is also a text feature. Ah! Mice and tortoise are just a couple of the animals that have learned to survive in the desert. Desert bugs are fierce fighters. They have to be tough to live in the dry land. Scorpions jab their prey with poisonous stingers. The stink bug shoots enemies with a smelly spray. The desert tarantula has stinging hairs on its abdomen. If a bird or snake gets too close, the tarantula flicks hairs into the animal's eyes and blinds it. Other desert insects are gentler. Butterflies flit between flowers. They drink the blossom's nectar. Colorful butterflies stand out in the brown desert. There's a picture here. I'm going to read this portion real quickly. It says, scaly, spiky, and bumpy reptiles thrive in the desert. They have watertight skin. Their skin doesn't sweat, so they don't lose water. Scritch, scritch. The claws of a lizard scrape against the sand. The nervous lizard scrambles towards a bush. A nearby snake slithers to a stop. The snake senses the lizard, and with a snap of its powerful jaw, the snake grabs the lizard and swallows it whole. And as you can see in this picture, as I was showing you before, it says a side-winding adder snake swallows a lizard from Africa's Namib Desert. This one shows a Gila monster on top and then a kangaroo rat. Another hunter crawls along the desert floor. A Gila monster searches for a meal. The red and black lizard finds a kangaroo rat hiding beneath a bush. With quick gulps, the Gila monster gobbles its prey. If you would like to stop here again, just for a bonus stop, you may, but you can just keep on listening if you'd like. We see a picture there at the top. It says coyotes hunt at night in the desert when it's cooler. And then this is it says it's a field note on a scorpion there. Okay. And this one shows an elf owl that's peeking out from a nest. All right. Desert animals hunt at night. During the hot day, many animals hide in cool burrows or under shady rocks. But when the sun goes down, desert animals come out. High above in the dark sky, a brown bat flies overhead. In the shadow, a lean coyote sniffs the air. it catches the scent of a mouse. From a small hole in a giant saguaro cactus, an elf owl's round eyes scan the ground below. A speckled grasshopper leaps from a bush. In a swift dive, the tiny owl snatches the grasshopper and silently flaps back to its nest. As the sun rises, night animals go back to their nests and burrows. During the night, few animals found water, but they aren't thirsty. To live in dry land, desert animals need very little water. And this would be stop number 3, where you would go ahead and write down the things that you've learned from the section that I just read, and also what you still wonder based on what you've learned.